Hey, I'm Gabe Smedresman, and it's important for me to make games that enrich players, that leave them better off and leave the world better off after having played the game than from before they experience it. And because we as game designers, our craft is creating virtual worlds, creating fictions, I find, even though that's the case, I find the best way to touch people deeply and lastingly is through the real. So that's why I make games that bridge fiction and reality. I worked on a game called Logan's Run that was a citywide theatrical game set in Soma where you interact with actors, solve puzzles, open boxes, all in the world of the sci-fi cult classic. I made a game called The Hearst Collection that was a live-action laser maze art heist. And I'm right now working on a game called Anchorage, which is a digital game about your past relationships that uses your actual email history to fill the game with the people you used to be close to in real life. So as a designer who pulls in the real, I challenged myself to define it for this talk and had a lot of challenging. We live in a time where what is real is very confusing. And games have a major hand in that. MMOs are just as valid social environments as physical ones. We spend as much time on Facebook as we do with actual friends. And though I've made games to connect real groups, real people to places, people to real history, the best definition or thing in common I found with what is actually real is just that it's shared. Just that it's shared with other people. That the reality is that which, when you stop believing it, doesn't go away. There's another sense of the real, too, that's just as important to me, which is the sense of the authentic, the physical, the immersive, that which is not filtered down by a small screen and limited interfaces, limited input and output, like button and screen, but that which is experienced in the full, broadest channels of input and output of life. What's as close to this amazing world, immersive world that we have that's real. And so I try and make games that use new technologies and use new opportunities to channel both of these methods, ways of reality. Make games that are tied to shared reality, shared ideals, shared concepts and actual objects from the past and present, and also things that are shared through physical reality, through the broadest channel of interaction. And so obviously we're all super excited about the Oculus and VR, and it's the potential to create more immersive, more real, more deeply engaging worlds than we ever had in the past. And part of me is like, this is amazing new technology, cool, I want to play with it, but part of me is like, how is this not everything I am trying to fight with my entire career, which is we have this amazing world with a panoply of just input and stimulation and everything the world has to offer out there, and we just spend it looking at these small rectangles. But the difference is this, that every time you see an Oculus demo, there's a screen next to it, because even though someone is going through some deeply meaningful, personal, immersive, most just affecting experience they likely have in a long time, it's shared, and there are people who can share it with them. It's shared, it's real. And that's what makes VR also part of a much bigger picture. We've typically up till today, we've had the ability to create physical spaces, and we've had the ability to create digital spaces, but there hasn't been much in common between them. But this is changing. Our digital experiences are getting more immersive. VR is a huge step forward in this. But technology as a substrate for interactive media is becoming smaller, more ubiquitous, cheaper. Computers have become phones, which you have in your pocket on the bus ride to play 5-minute games. This is becoming wearables, which are much more limited, as we know, but are with you all the time. And for every physical interaction you take, there are these physical interactive devices that have just the same sensors as phones do that can interact with everything that you do in life. And at the same time, technology interactive media is affecting all of our culture. And so we're going to expect technology, going to expect interactivity and technology as the driver of that in our movies, in our theater, in our music, in all of the different forms of cultural entertainment that we enjoy. And this is creating a whole new world of new ways of experiencing art, immersive physical space design, big games, that sort of thing. And so while it might seem that from our different ways of creating games that have been sort of all over the map in terms of what's real and what's digital, that these are going in different directions, that VR is creating higher fidelity experiences, that wearables are more integrated with our physical activities, and that immersive spaces are adding more authorial and digital and interactive fidelity to actual physical shared spaces that we already enjoy, they're actually taking us in the same direction, which is combining this high fidelity of authorship that we have in our virtual environments that we all enjoy in game designers with the high fidelity of interaction, sharedness, reality that we have in this physical world. And that's what all the designers who work in augmented reality mean. You know, the camera thing is just sort of the early demo, but what we all mean is this deep sense of a shared virtual world combined with the physical reality. And this is really cool for games, because games are inhabiting all these little niches, and there are all sorts of new ways of playing with games that are sort of starting to peek out as new genres. But they're not little niches. They're actually the world of games expanding to include all of these things, all of these new forms of entertainment. Games are expanding and will encompass all of this. And that's super exciting for us and sort of game designers at the fringes of new ways of interacting with technology and reality to explore. So my hope for us as an industry is that as we tinker with these new ways of creating games and experiences, that we don't just fall into using better displays to make more immersive, escapist fantasies, that we don't just make more just better visual graphic-based environments, that we actually make things that are more deeply real, that use all of the affordances that our amazing bodies and our amazing world has to offer, and that we tie in all the aspects of life that we share that make us who we are, that make us and our games deeply real. If you're really interested in this, these are some communities that also are really interested in stuff like this, and I hope to see you there.